Why are Polish people so serious? Because happy is so hard to say in Polish. Szczęśliwy. 4 of the hardest Polish sounds in one word. Polish is by far the hardest language I've ever attempted to learn. I would now say I'm fluent, but no one can understand a word I say in Polish. That doesn't mean I've given up on Polish. I still try and learn. And the reason for that is I have a change-ready mindset. This mindset has been developed over years with my fight against my disability. I've actually given it a name, after one of the most beautiful, ferocious, mythical, dangerous animals that have ever graced this planet. And yes, you've probably all worked it out, and yes, you are correct. I am talking about the bee. And today, I'm going to tell you how to get your inner bee out of you. If I had listened to the numerous voices in my life, I would not be standing in front of you today. Impossible, people like you shouldn't do that, or people like you should choose an easier option. That word impossible is probably the most ridiculous word in the whole of the English language. And today, by the time I'm finished, I hope you look at it slightly differently. Recent surveys have shown that there will be more change in the next 3 years than the past 50 years. This combined with the rate of technology change means we are changing at a pace we have never experienced before. Being change ready is not just a nice to have, it's essential to survive in today's world. But let's take a step back to the beginning. When I was very young, I was diagnosed with being dyslexic and sent to special school. My parents asked, "What does this mean for Neil?" They were told that I would have the reading and writing age of an 8-year-old for my entire life. I've never quite understood why it's called dyslexic. It is a very hard word to say for dyslexic people. I think we should name it ABDC. Dyslexic people could say it quite easily, and people would understand what the problem was. If you don't get that joke, don't worry, it means you're not dyslexic. Growing up with dyslexia, there's been much sadness and much time of self-despair. But I now see it as my gift. And I would only be half the person I am today without it. I'd have only achieved half the things in my life without it. And I think without it, I wouldn't have learnt the lessons about this change-ready mindset and the 3 attributes you need for it. This change-ready mindset was really tested to the max a couple of months ago. I got a phone call from my mum. She said, "Your granddad, my hero, a great inspiration, and one of the reasons I am standing here today, was not too well, and I should go back to Scotland to say my goodbyes." On the flight across, I thought, what do I say to this great man? How do I thank him? And I was listening to music at the time, and I got inspiration from one of my favourite bands, and I wrote down what I wanted to say to him. It said, "And when I'm scared, I imagine you are there, telling me to be brave, so I will be brave for you." When I saw my mum, I knew I would never get the chance to read that to my granddad. She burst into tears and said, "You've missed him. He died 2 hours ago." Of course, I went across and gave my mum a hug. I knew I had 2 options there. Option 1, be absolutely devastated. I couldn't say goodbye to a man that I loved a lot. Or option 2, I could now be there for my mum. My mum had been there for my granddad at the end, and it was now time to be there for my mum. With a change-ready mindset, I had the clarity to think. And I chose option 2. Yes, I was upset, but it was my duty to be there for my mum. Let's explore those 3 attributes. So attribute 1, I'm a keen runner. And recently I wanted to do 10K in under 40 minutes. Training had gone really well, my diet was really good, and it was all building up for the Independence Run 2 weeks ago. 3 weeks before that, I thought, I'm feeling really good. Let's enter another 10K. Woke up in the morning, the sun was out, it was a beautiful day. So I thought, yes, this is going to be the day. Got to the start line, feeling good. Started. So off I go, determined to do it. At about halfway through, I started thinking negatively. I started having thoughts, has your training been that good? Do you deserve this? Are you going to be able to do it? And I had those negative thoughts for the rest of the race. I finished, looked up at the clock, 40 minutes, 40 seconds. What went wrong there? I had 3 weeks to prepare for the independence run. And I was thinking, I let negativity win on that day. So for the independence run, I thought, I'm going to be positive the whole way around. I'm going to imagine finishing in under 40 minutes. I was seen on that day, and people said, I've never looked so relaxed on a run. Imagining the end, thinking, yes, my training has been good. Yes, my diet's been really good. And yes, I do deserve this. I finished that race in 39 minutes and 35 seconds. In 3 weeks, the only thing that had changed was my mindset. And this is number one. You have to have a positive mindset in going into any situation. Positivity breeds positivity. Number two, I moved across to Poland in May 2017. I was told, don't do it. Don't you know there's bears on the streets? All of senior stakeholders said to me, you're too young. It's too much of a jump for you. It's going to be career ending. Even my biggest sponsor said to me, Neil, I'm taking a risk on you. Now don't muck it up. That wasn't exactly the word he used, but that's the word I'm going to tell you. So coming across, got to the airport. We were on a luxury low-cost airline, so I was really looking forward to the flight. I was with my 5-month-old son and my wife. Huge delays. We go through security. My wife is type 1 diabetic. She had a hypo, collapsed and started fitting on the floor. I'm there holding my son with the sugar, trying to get her conscious again. We then got on the plane. Just made it. We landed in Poland. My son's on my lap. I look out the window. I see a floodlight and a shed. We'd landed at Warsaw Modeling. We then got off the plane, and we waited on the runway for 10 minutes. To this day, I still don't know why we waited on that platform for 10 minutes. We then got through, taxi drivers waiting for us. Took us out. The back of his taxi was all smashed up. I looked at him, and he smiled and said, "Dear," and laughed, and got into the taxi. I sat down in that taxi and thought, what have I done? I am way outside my comfort zone, and I think the universe is trying to give me a sign here. Since that day, I've had such an incredible journey across here. I've fallen in love with this country. I've learnt so much about myself, and I've learnt so many new skills. In that taxi, on our way to Warsaw, I was thinking, I can do this. I've been in this situation before, and I know I'm going to have to learn new skills and work on myself. So number 2 is work on yourself daily. Get outside your comfort zone, and you'll be amazed at what you can achieve. Number 3, I'm 5 years old. And when you're dyslexic, you get tested for everything. One of the assessors said to my parents, "We think Neil is stupid." The actual words he used at the time was mentally retarded. So, to test that, I have to do an IQ test. So I'm there, 5 years old, wanting to be outside playing football, not doing this silly test. My mum's next to me, the assessor's in front of me. Off we go. First 2 tests, I get correct. Assessor looks at my mum. Everyone gets those right. The next one is the hard one. Picked up a box, put the puzzle down, and a picture. I'm sat there, look at the picture, look at the puzzle, and look at the picture again. And then look at the assessor. He then looks at my mum with that look going, "I told you he was stupid," and started pulling away the puzzle. I said, hang on a minute. Pulled the puzzle back, walked around the table to the box, picked out the missing piece, walked back around, and completed the puzzle. The assessor went, wow. I went on to score the highest IQ he had ever seen. And these are the fine lines that we all face on a daily basis. And what you need to do is to have belief in yourself. I had belief in myself as a 5-year-old that I could do that puzzle. If I hadn't done it then, my life would have been very different. You're now probably going, didn't he mention a bee? And what has this got to do with a bee? So let's go a bit back to that. In the 1930s, a French scientist called Antoine Magnon, I don't entirely know why I have to do that when I talk French, but I do, said that bees defy the laws of aviation and should not be able to fly. This was backed up by the Bee Movie. If you haven't seen the Bee Movie, it's an animated movie for kids. The lead bee character says, bees are too fat and wings are too tiny. But bees don't believe in impossible. They want to fly, and that's why they fly. In 2005, this myth was busted. A group of scientists proved that bees don't fly like this, they fly like this. They were very happy that this myth that had inspired millions had now been busted. I thought, well done, you bee. You are change ready, and that is why you can fly. 1, the bee used positivity and knew it could go places that other people thought it couldn't. 2, the bee worked on itself, saying, this is not working. What do I need to try now? And the bee, number 3, had belief in itself, and that's why it could fly. These are the lessons that dyslexia have taught me. These changes in mindset are very small, but will make a fantastic difference. That word impossible. So when you're growing up with dyslexia, you are taught to read words, break them down, then read them out. When I first came in contact with the word impossible, I read it out as, I'm possible. My teacher went, no, it's impossible. To this day, I still don't know if she was right. The challenge I'd like to leave you with is, be the bee, be change ready, and see where life takes you. Thank you.